So we came back to Pismo for Memorial Day weekend. Came with a little group. We got some ZR2s in the group, some Raptors, and then some Toyota Tacomas. And we didn't really have a plan. We were just romping around, messing around, and then we went to some jumps. There's also DeBerti's twin turbo V8 F-150. That one right there, the full build, and then this other Chevy full build. And then we sent it. I wanted this video to be an explanation on the dssv shock, so I just wanted to get it airborne. It turned into a total hold my beer moment. I sent it way too far, but I'm going to document the damage. It's going to be a damage report and explain the shocks later in the video. A lot of people are curious how well these little trucks are going to hold up. I think you're going to be impressed. If you ever jumped your truck before, it's addicting. I love it. I love recording them. I love just watching them. So we sent the Raptor off to this guy, to Robbie Woods, to get a full build. Because quite frankly, if you're going to be jumping your truck like that often and constantly, you better build it up because it's not going to last. So it goes without saying, I don't recommend any of you ever jump your stock truck like this. But it happened, so I'm going to show you guys how well the little truck held up. And I doubt you're ever going to see a ZR2 jump that high without getting totaled. I think that was the absolute max of its potential as far as how hard you can send it and still drive it home on a long road trip. So just for reference, an early Gen 1, the ones that had frame problems, the one with the smaller engines, that would have been destroyed on that jump. I've seen later Gen 1s, the good ones, tweak their frame on that same jump with similar or less. It's hard to compare. I mean, angles matter, everything, but I've seen some monster sends with stock trucks there that bent their frames, lost their skid plates, all that stuff. And I've done more damage, I've done a lot of damage to the Gen 2 with less of a send. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave you guys here. You can see the arms, check out the arms, check out the welds on all the shock mounts, check out my knuckles, my spindles, my axles. Everything is 100%. My bump stocks, my shocks, my coils. I'll even go ahead and show you guys the frame. I'll get the camera as close as I can to the frame. It's nice and straight. I took it to Mike's alignment in Ontario. He's an old race mechanic. He's got a pretty good pedigree. He just owns a little alignment shop right here in Ontario. But he knew what he's looking at, and he's the one that repaired the Raptor for its damage. And I showed him the videos of how I did the damage on the Raptor. I showed him the video of how I did this, just so he wouldn't underestimate the inspection. And yeah, he said it's 100% fine. Beyond that, he actually told me that this truck is a lot tougher than the Raptor, just based on the damage, how it held up, and how it's built. So now onto the body damage. Suspension damage was 0, frame damage 0, component, everything, it's 100% on everything that matters. But the bed moves around on these a little bit. It shimmies as you drive. I put my thumb, I didn't take calipers to it, but whatever, I was spacing everything out. All the tolerances are fine. But yeah, you can see the damage I did to it from the bed hitting it. That was it. Besides that, the truck is 100% fine. Still, this is why I don't recommend you guys ever jumping it. Besides the safety reason, the truck was not meant to do this. But showing that this was the only damage it took is pretty impressive. So now on to shock technology. They're pretty complicated, so I'm going to keep it simple. You don't need to understand much about them. Just understand why they're different, and you'll understand why they're so good. That's one of the 3 valves that it has. Those little windows are what regulate the oil passage, which dictate the dampening rate. That's why it reacts differently on the road, on off-road, and at full send. It's got 2 of the valves in the middle chamber right there. That's just for normal road driving and a little bit harder driving. So that's why it can react so well and take corners so well and everything on the street. So the 3rd valve that's on top of the top piston right there, when your piston's at full extension, when you're at full droop in the sand, in the air, whatever, the valve changes or manipulates the amount of oil that goes through. So your dampening rates are different than during normal driving or normal off-roading. There's also a cup that the piston goes into when you're at full droop. That's how the truck knows when you're in the air, and it starts to regulate the dampening for rebound dampening rate. So from full droop, as you start landing, the piston starts traveling through the chamber, and the oil gets expelled through those little holes right there, and it goes to the outer sleeve. But once the valve passes through there, no more oil is released and the dampening ratios change. So as you approach full tuck, the shock is changing and supporting the load weight differently than the first 2/3 of the shocks travel. So I'm guessing some of you might have been like me, thinking the gold dssv shocks were gimmicky or a little bit marketing. I didn't like them at first. Honestly, I wish they were any other color, but now seeing how it reacts and now understanding them, these shocks are the future of off-roading. If you don't believe me, The Gen 2 Raptor just switched up to this type of shock that self-regulates, that's dynamic, but it uses an electronic mode. It uses sensors. The dssvs are all mechanically regulated. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe and like, please share, and to any of you guys that are a little bit more technically inclined, if I got anything wrong or I left anything out, please leave it on the comments. Please help our viewers out just so I don't give them wrong information or I don't lead them in the wrong way. I'll put links to everybody that helped out in the video. Also, Spencer at Highway Raptor and Eric at 2 AM. Thanks for all the extra footage you guys gave me and for the extra angle of the truck's jump. And Tim at Raptor Off-Road, thanks a lot for recording our jump. We wouldn't have had a video without it.
There he goes. Gun it. Nice. The ZR and the ZR. That's how you stick together.